Yay!
Is it on?
Yeah.
Okay. The Angie interview that everybody's been waiting for. When did you come down to Slab City for the first time?
I think it was 2018, 2019.
So pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. I had just moved into my RV and I was at Quartzsite, and a friend of mine who also does YouTube, Nomadic Zig on YouTube, asked if we were going to Slab City, and I'd never heard of it before, so I pulled my phone out and I Googled it, and I saw Salvation Mountain, and I was like, please, 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 to my boyfriend, this one night, let's go check this out. And yeah, I fell in love with it.
And you came from where?
At that point, I was living in Ripon, right outside of Manteca, Modesto area, working at doctors. I don't know if I was at Doctor's Hospital yet, or if I was still at Stockton, St. Joseph's in Stockton.
Okay.
I did a travel assignment, and then I became staff at that hospital. It's all right. Camera just.
And so that's one of the things that makes you kind of different from, a lot of other people down here. Not anything wrong with it, but I mean just different that you were a professional prior to coming down here and deciding to stay. And you'd been a nurse for how long?
10 years.
And you weren't just. You weren't
9.
Just...
Maybe 9 at the time, because
Yeah.
then it took me about a year to wrap up my affairs and make it down here.
And what kind of nurse were you?
Emergency. I did with a specialty in pediatric emergency. At the hospitals that had a dedicated PDER, I did PDER.
Okay. And you've done a video on it, but what would you say, like, the number one thing was that made you get to the point where you were done with nursing?
Oh, the number one thing?
Yeah, or just, couple things that like decided it for you, where you decided you couldn't do it anymore.
It was less maybe that I couldn't do it anymore, and more that I was excited to try to live a different type of lifestyle. I did not like the nursing profession. It fed my family, and it allowed me to raise my daughter, but I found it very difficult to maintain a career and raise a teenager as a single parent. I feel like I could do one of them well. I can either have a career and go to work and be the breadwinner, or I can raise a teenage daughter. It's really hard to go work night shift when your kid is acting up and being truant in school, and then you have to go to work that night. Don't sneak out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Be in bed on time. I need you to help be an adult for me, right? We're a team. That's really hard when you are gone 3 nights a week. And at that point I was doing 6 on, 8 off, so that I would have a chunk of time off so I could recover. Because, doing every other night as a night shift, or when they're not all together, it's worse. I felt like it was worse having to flip flop days to nights. So I would chunk them together so I could have 8 days off. But, did I answer the question?
Yeah. I mean, do you...
I used to joke they could double my salary and I still wouldn't go back. And I left nursing, and then COVID hit, and they pretty much have.
Yeah.
I'm gonna edit that out so it's not yeah.
And do you ever foresee that you would go back?
I've thought about it. I've thought about it in the way that, like, it takes money to make the world go round, right? No matter how you slice it. And I have a career where I could be making more money, but then I just don't know that mentally I could do it, that I want to do it. It was so stressful. It's so hard on your body. They want you to do more with less. It's a toxic relationship. It's a toxic relationship. And I don't feel like the money is worth the stress on my mental health or my body. And so I'd rather work a minimum wage job as an artist living off grid in the desert than.
So what was the transition from coming down here to deciding you're staying down here?
I mean, I fell in love with this. As soon as I got here, I loved it. This is fun to me. It's like being a kid again. It reminds me of being like, I like when you get home from school and you used to go play in the neighborhood. Like it's very reminiscent of my childhood. I go on an adventure every morning, my hike. I do all the things that I was supposed to do when I was nursing, right? I'm taking care of my body. I'm exercising. I'm eating healthier. I'm I keep my space clean. Like all these things I had trouble with. I was so overweight. Did I send you the picture of me with my belly on the
Yeah,
counter?
so that's, I mean, it's a good transition into that. So like that's another really interesting part of your story that um, comes across in your videos even when you don't talk about it. Uh, is that there's definitely a probably an outsider's vibe of this place that people come down here, they're not doing anything, doing a lot of drugs, they're unhealthy, blah blah blah. And some of that might be true for you. It was almost exactly the opposite. I mean, in some ways, you you like you said, you went through a period where you were down and out and really having a hard time. So talk about that a little bit and how that transitioned into you being healthier and you taking care of yourself and now being at probably what seems like
The best shape
one
of my life.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that
So,
give us a little
well,
bit of
so
all
I
that,
got
whatever you're
pregnant when I
comfortable.
was 17. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, sorry.
I got pregnant when I was 17, and I had never had that period where you leave your parents' house and you get to while out and you do whatever you want. I was always responsible for another life, right? Taking care of my daughter and my son, who that's a whole nother story. But and then working. So I found myself at whatever age, what I don't remember, 30 something, without the responsibility of another adult, and I without that to anchor me to what I was supposed to be doing when faced with unlimited freedom. I went off the deep end a little bit. I started partying and I thought that I could control it, and I took it too far. And 4.5, 5 years later, I figured it out, got back under control of it. That's another story.
Well, I want to interrupt you there because I think it's a really unique story that like a bazillion other people online talk about these things. As nurses, people aren't going to see my face, but I'm a nurse too. Um, we know, not that you have to be a nurse to know this, but we know it in a specific kind of way about how hard it is for people to go through those periods, get off drugs, and actually transition back into being more healthy. What advice, like after all this time, what advice would you have for people that might be out there that are in these places, that because you're unique in that way, that like you don't seem to be struggling at all to me regarding
Sobriety.
drugs or anything in sobriety, right? You don't seem to, I mean,
Because
or
I
you don't
knew
let it
it
on
was
let on.
wrong when I was doing it, and when I started doing it, I don't know, I kind of had this like, you got the person, the little,
Mm-hmm.
like, this is wrong, you shouldn't be doing it. Shut up. I'm gonna just go play for a little bit. It'll be fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't get stuck down here,
Right.
and don't get stuck down here. No matter what happens, if I don't, I knew I couldn't get stuck down where as low as
Mm-hmm.
I was, and
But you
so
did for a while.
I did for a while. Well, I also was dating a really abusive dude that was like feeding drugs to me. And every time I would try to get sober, he would bring home a sack and dangle it in front of my
Mm-hmm.
face. So once I finally got him out of the picture, I immediately got sober. That was it. I
Okay.
gave what little bit I had away. And, I'm not trying to blame my drug use on anybody but me, but it's really hard. So you asked for advice. If you are trying to get sober right now, you have to get rid of those toxic people in your life. Because if you have somebody that's like, here, you don't have to feel bad,
Yeah.
it's hard to be like, okay, I'm gonna just keep going through this, especially when they're not helping you with the chores. And the chores out here are ridiculous. You got to make sure you have water. You have to, make sure that you just things out here. The
Yeah.
life is harder as far as your
I want
daily.
to come back to that.
Yeah, but
That I want to come back
but
to.
it's a lot harder to do when you're trying to get sober and you don't have
Right.
help, and you've got somebody that's like, hey, you want to get high?
And
You
so
don't have to feel bad.
ironically, in this place where there's basically no boundaries on you doing drugs, right? I mean,
Right.
you were able to figure that out. And this is something I think that a lot of people wouldn't attribute to Slab City and the places around this, that my take on this from coming down here, meeting people, meeting you, meeting the people that are friends of yours, is that there's a pretty, even if people aren't completely sober, there's a pretty good support system for people who that are friends of yours that will support you. Is that not true,
Yeah,
or is it?
so I guess like there is a it's very easy to stay high here because people are so accepting of you as you are. And so that your or your gender identity, your sobriety status, your whoever it is that you are as a person, everybody out here is like, come on, you know what I mean? Come eat, come to the table. You're welcome. So it's easy to stay. Where was I going with this? I have in my circle specifically, I have recovering addicts as friends.
Okay.
So half of the people that you met the other night when we were at the food thing, they were going down the same road I did and got sober about the same time I did. So I've they have in common the same struggle, I guess, that I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there's a lot of people out here that are
Sure.
still that are still using, and I find that I have to kind of stay away from them. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that I don't know, sometimes I struggle with it a little bit. It'd be way more fun, but I know that I can't touch it, otherwise I might end up back down the bad road. And I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't supposed to do it to begin with. It's not something that I'm proud of. I know that it's wrong, and it got out of control so quickly that I have to stay away because I can't let that happen again.
Okay.
So
And talk a little bit more. You were talking about getting down here and how great it was, and you felt like a kid going on adventures. Talk about the flip side of that you were just kind of mentioning about the reality of a day to day life down here and how hard it can be. I mean, you've been here for full summers. You've been here, for you live through all the times. It's not a joke down here.
right, okay, so but the job that I was doing, the amount of times that I've put a human person, a child, in a body bag
Right.
versus I have to pump water or it's
Right.
hot outside. You know what I mean? It's not.
But I mean more for the people who would look at that and think, we're going to go down to Slab City. It's going to be easy. We'll have to do a few things. It'll be a little hard, but I mean, there are some things down here that are really tough.
Well, you walk through the camp.
What's the hottest day?
Walk through the camps, right? You can come down here and you can fuck off. And if you do, then you get what you work for here. And instead of working for a boss, you're working for yourself. You can come down here and you can goof off, but you're gonna have a hard time in the summer if you didn't establish shade, or if you don't figure out a way to get water. You don't want to do hot things like carrying water in the summer.
Yeah.
You if the more you prepare, the easier life will be when it gets hard. In the wintertime, it's all fun and games, but in the summertime, it's a complete flip of the coin. It's survival.
Yeah.
And people think that, you know, they'll be okay, and then they get into June, July, and then August hits, and most people that aren't established will leave
And what
by
kind
then.
of temperatures do you usually see on those things?
120 degrees for a
Yeah.
couple weeks at a time. It gets pretty hot. It gets pretty hot. It only got to 120 like twice this summer. So very, very, very mild summer this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then you get down
We
here.
cruised at like 111 though for the majority of it. I know I would send you the photos of, and I was just thinking about this the other day. You know, I'd go into my living room and I bought little dollar thermometers, and I had them in various spots around the house. And as soon as October hit, I quit taking pictures of the temperature. I don't even care what temperature it is right now.
Yeah.
But in the summertime, it's so
and it's
awful.
still hot. I mean, for anybody who's not used to it, it's still,
yeah.
The days are still quite hot. And so you get down here, and now you've become almost a default in your channel and your work on the mountain, Salvation Mountain. You're kind of a default ambassador for the good things about Slab City and then how people should act. How did that all kind of take place? Like getting into working with Slab City with Salvation Mountain.
Oh, Salvation Mountain. I needed a job. And I found out they were hiring, and so I applied, and now I work as a docent and I volunteer for labor. So I get paid a little bit to do the people greeting, and then any of the actual like labor part of it is volunteer stuff. So people ask that all the time. It's like 50-50 at this point.
And and the goal is, I mean, for people who don't know, Salvation Mountain is made from sort of an adobe mix that's sort of constantly under
State
duress
of repair.
from the weather, and you're rebuilding it.
Yeah.
And you've also got some other art projects going on.
I don't talk about those
Okay.
as much. It's okay. I do. I've helped out a little bit at East Jesus. That's East Jesus and Slabs have an interesting
Yeah,
relationship.
explain that, because I don't think most people understand anything about that.
Oh, East Jesus is they were able a long time ago to buy their land. So Leonard Knight, who built Salvation Mountain, and Container Charlie, who established East Jesus, they showed up about the same time. So you've got these two art installations that are coming up at about the same time. But East Jesus is private property. They own their land, and they notoriously have issues with slabbers because slabbers are notoriously not respectful. I think just earlier this year there was a slabber that snuck in and burned down one of the art pieces, and so it's one I don't talk about it as much because I'm so honored that they let me touch their art that I'm afraid if I speak it that it'll I don't know, poof away out of existence.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And so with living here, so now you've got some perspective. You were a nurse for whatever 9-10 years, moved down here, went through your period where you got into some drugs,
Wiling out.
clean up, and not to mention wait, I want to back up a little bit. We should talk about the thing that went with that. What's that?
Oh, I wanted to say one more thing. You asked about the ambassador thing. I don't try to speak for the slabs. It's more like my video log, and
yeah,
as far as like how people should behave, it trying to encourage tourism, right? Like, and trying to set a standard. If you haven't heard it before, it's here. Oftentimes people will show up and they're like, oh, Slab City, we can do whatever we want. Well, you really can't. I wish you wouldn't. You know what I mean? That's not a challenge. That's just if you come out here and do that, you're gonna have a bad time. I put a short out about Traveler Season, one of my Slab City slangs, and on the thing, the trolling on the comment section, I thought it was lawless. I thought we could do whatever we want. I thought we could come out with it. You not like that. And if you come out when it's out of temperature range, you're gonna have a hard time. I want you to have the best experience possible. And if you come out during traveler season, you'll have fun. If you come in the middle of the summer, you just
and I didn't mean you were at all that you're trying to speak for everybody or whatever. It's just you're right. I think it's very easy for people not to fully appreciate that there are people here really living their lives, and that this is their home, and that because I think that from the outside it seems so alien to some people that they can't really even appreciate the reality.
It's like you guys are on vacation when you come down here, but this is my daily life. Right. Like, look at how crazy I was today. I was running around trying to get everything done so that I had a chance to sit down. It's not that I don't want to sit down and meet people either. It's just like, this is my life. Right. Like it's I have things that I need to do, chores I need to take care of, and I maintain this camp almost by myself. So there's just there should be a basic standard of conduct, and
no different than anywhere.
Right. Like, again, backyard rules. Yeah. And they like to say, I hate it, fuck around, find out. So played out, but like, yeah.
So on the same note as you talk about how you figured out with when you were having problems with drug stuff. The other huge thing that is, it's represented in your videos because you show people around as you're going for hikes, and you talk about getting your steps in during the day. But that's another huge thing. Talk a little bit about going from being really overweight to being in, like you said, the best shape of your life.
Can I tell you too? So I started like 320 pounds in Babylon, and I lost it down to like 220. When I showed up in Slab City, I was about 220. And then shortly after I arrived, I got really, really high and I got down to maybe 160. When I stopped doing drugs, I started back at 220 and I had to work my way back down. So that's where we're at now. So this is the smallest that I've been since I got pregnant at 17 without the substance assistance. And I don't know, you said it the other day, and it's true. When you either find Jesus or you start a ridiculous exercise routine, I don't know, I needed something to channel the rage and just everything. And
But
it's so fun. And this is my, like I told you when we went for the hike the other day, this is my backyard. I mean, like,
and so
it's fun.
So I mean, for it seems so unlikely, but here you are talking about being in shape out here in the desert. And the funny thing is that since I've known you and you've talked about this, I mean, you never ever put yourself out there as some sort of informant about being in shape. But I mean, talk about that. You do it every day. What do you do?
Because I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do with their life. I'm just showing you what I do with my life.
But tell people, I mean, how you've done this. What do you do every day?
I walk 10,000 steps a day, almost every day. I have I call it a floor routine. I do a little bit of yoga, a little bit of push-ups, like calisthenic type workout. I'm working right now. I can do like 2 pull-ups. You have to get a video of me doing pull-ups. It's the push-ups started with the photography back in 2023. I was like, because I'll lay down on the ground to try to get the shot. And I don't know, I thought it'd be cool to be able to just pop up and like a piece of toast. And then I saw this video where Jehovah's Witness asked somebody to go to church with them, and the guy's like, if you can beat me at push-ups. And they did a push-up competition, and I don't know, I'm so competitive. I thought, like, all these things in my head, I thought that'd be cool. Like, I'm a girl, girls aren't notoriously good at doing stuff like that. I want to be stronger. Why don't I start working on that? And so I did.
And plus you eat very well, right?
I
think that would be another surprise to people.
That's the hardest part, is the diet, right? Like, what is it, 70% exercise, or diet, 30% exercise. I used to eat straight fast food. I worked so much all the time that by the time I got home, you have to grocery shop, you have to clean up, you have to do the dishes, you have to cook the food. Then you're working night shift. It was a pain in the butt. We could put her in the house. Sorry. I ate so crappy. And then the first couple years I was out here, I ate out of a can. And so that's something within the last 2 years that I've really tried to just switch to whole foods, try not to snack in between meals, and then really limit my my sugar intake. Over the summer, I didn't smoke pot, and I stopped drinking coffee almost the entire summer. I've since got coffee back. I love coffee.
You do a lot of your own cooking.
Coffee.
No.
I do. I try to meal prep. So, like, I'll make a big soup or something at the beginning of the week, and then I put my little containers in my little refrigerator that I have. That way, at least I have a hearty meal for dinner or lunch, depending on. I started now kind of moving it to lunch, so I eat the heavier meals at the beginning of the day. I eat a heavy breakfast, heavy lunch, and then I try to eat really light for dinner. And I try not to eat after 5. So that way, by the time I eat again, I've fasted for 12 hours, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
All these little things that I've been watching the health videos and stuff, and I'm like, okay, that looks cool. Let's try that. Let's incorporate that into the routine and see if it adds value. And that's where we're at right now. Small changes over time.
And so
here we are. Kale soup for dinner.
Yeah. So what do you? I mean, that's a weird question, but I mean, like, future-wise, you see yourself down here for the near future, or do you see something that you maybe change, or is it just kind of playing it by ear and seeing what happens?
I hate summer. I hate summer, but I haven't found something I'd rather do than be here. So maybe if the opportunity, I always did want to travel like overseas, things like that. But then there requires money to live in the real world. Out here I don't need very much money to live. I live out here very comfortably with almost nothing, and I'm happy.
But things aren't free.
Mostly, huh?
But things aren't free. People have a misunderstanding about that online.
No, things aren't free. Things still cost money, and if you, I mean, like toilet paper, gas, car insurance, things break down. It still takes some amount of money. You know, again, it depends on the standard of living that you set for yourself. And with the YouTube channel and working at Salvation Mountain, I feel like I live pretty comfortably here. When I was in Babylon last year for the summer, I worked a minimum wage job, and I slept in a borrowed room, and it was not the worst, but it wasn't better than here. I want to be where the people aren't. You know, maybe one day I'll get gifted some large plot of land where I have a gigantic backyard and I can maintain my lifestyle by working on folk art. Like until there's a better offer, this is where we're at. I don't know. I don't know how many more summers I have left in me either. Like this year was really easy. You know, next summer we'll just have to see. Much more comfortable than I've been in the past, but I don't know. I don't know what else I want to do with my life. I think about leaving, but I can't foresee a better daily life than what I have now, and so here I remain. I'm very content with my life. Every morning I wake up, I'm so happy. I'm happy to be here. I don't remember being like that before. Wake up, oh, I'm gonna do this, or to go to work.
And that's I think and I'm not sure what my question is here, but that's a thing that comes across on your videos, that you're happy, and you know, the juxtaposition where you this is my outside take on it.
Flies.
The confusing. Yeah, flies make it fun.
Hate the flies.
So you're happy, comes across that you're happy, but you're not happy because you're sitting here doing nothing all day, and you're not happy because you don't have to have a job. You do have a job. So what's the crux, the key element that makes the happiness come where it wasn't able to get through before?
It's a purposeful life. You know, like, yes, I'm very busy, but I'm doing things that are fulfilling to me. I'm working on iconic folk art right now. They are allowing me to touch and repair a piece of this iconic folk art where people come from all over the world. I'm looking at it right now. You can't see it because you're looking at me, but I'm looking at Salvation Mountain right now. People come from overseas to come see that, and I'm getting to fix a corner of it. Like, that's so cool. It was really cool being a nurse, right? I did enjoy the job. I didn't enjoy the management. I didn't enjoy the bureaucracy of it. I didn't enjoy the do more, work harder with less for the paycheck. I liked taking care of the people, but it's not, that wore me out. And I don't think I could go back to that. And I don't want to go back to a minimum wage job, answering the phone or flipping hamburgers. I could do that, but this is so much more fun. I don't mind that. You were talking about you like your shower and the things that you have at the place that you're staying versus like dry camping out here. I feel like the things that I give up to live off grid out in the desert are nominal, right? I don't feel like I've really given up anything. And what I've given up, I've gained so much. This is my backyard, right? I can walk around naked if I want to, and nobody's around to see me. I can, I call it play. I goof off all day. It's totally different. I don't know where I was going with that.
No, that's okay.
Nursing was so stressful. It was so stressful, and I was making so much money. I had more money than I knew what to do with.
Yeah, well, I mean, so how much money were you making?
Fuck.
I mean, no, it's just good for people to know that you. It's not like you didn't have choices. How much money were you making when you quit? Roughly. Just
Probably like 55 an hour.
yeah.
I don't know,
Okay.
probably without differential, and that was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So I still get emails now for travel assignments. It's not worth it. It's
Right.
not worth
I think
the
that's
stress, the aggravation, the
yeah.
wear and tear on my body. I moved so far away from call lights, and like I don't even have the ringer on my phone. You will never hear my phone beep at me. I just can't. I can't. I can't. Maybe if they would have let us debrief after somebody died, maybe if they would have let me answer the phone or go to the bathroom when I needed to, maybe if I could have gone part time instead of making me work full time because they won't allow you to go take a part time position. Maybe if there would have been more days off or something, I wouldn't have burnt out. But I just don't think I can do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I can't watch people suffer. I'm having a hard time with my dog right now. You know, like I think that a lot of that is left over from some of the nursing stuff. Like I need to fix. I have this. Yeah, it fucked me up. It fucked me up, and I'm tired of not hearing I'm not tough enough for you. Oh, they were just terrible, terrible. You know.
Yeah. Well, so last question, maybe something on the same on that same plane, but a little lighter. Um, so somebody, I think people out there find these videos of people like you are making, and the reason they're looking for these videos is because they're considering changes in their lives, and it doesn't have to be dramatic changes. It might be the I'm just making this up. It might be the older woman whose husband has died, and she's thinking about getting in her car and taking a trip, or it might be somebody who's thinking about quitting their job, and is scared to do it, and they're looking at these videos because they are trying to find some source of uh, you know uh, people who can inspire them to do these, and I think your videos are like that. Um, just on that subject, for the last question? What's your thought on people that might find your videos and wonder to themselves, how in the fuck did she walk away from stuff, and how can I, they're looking for a reason to do what they want to do.
Because you could die tomorrow. You could eat healthy. You could exercise. You could do all the right things, and something could happen. You could get in a car crash. Insert awful thing, right? If you only get one life, and I'm not religious, and I don't believe. I think that you get one ride through this, and so go experience it. If when I was thinking about walking away from nursing, it was scary, and yeah, another reason about not going back in is it'd be really hard to get back into it with the lapse of experience I've had. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't have been able to live with myself on my deathbed knowing I was miserable on the path that I was on without taking the chance that I could be happier doing something else. And perhaps I didn't need to go quite so extreme. But I could have. I started out. I wanted to get a van and just camp at Santa Cruz on my 8 days off and live on the beach. And then I thought, well, if I'm going to camp for the weekend in a van, I could just live in a van. And then I used my 401k to get my RV. But and then came down here. But I don't know. Do the thing. Do the thing. Do the thing.
All right.
You don't have to necessarily quit your job and move out to Slab City, but like whatever it is that inspires you, just do it. Just fucking do it. What's the worst that could happen?
All right, great. I'm going to say, people can't see me. You've got merch out. You got some T-shirts out. Support if you like being able to watch Angie here out in the desert, and you like being able to see her videos, and maybe you found this and now you're finding them. Give some support because it counts.
Thank you.
All right.